Hi, everyone. Welcome back to my channel, Fun English Daily. Today, I want to share something that could completely change your life if you really hear it. Many people go through life waiting for someone else to fix their problems. They blame their family, their boss, the government, or even bad luck. But the truth is simple and powerful. Your life changes the moment you decide to take responsibility. It's not easy, but it's the first step to real freedom and power. Stay with me until the end, because these 15 rules can help you see your world in a new way. Let's get started. Rule 1. Accept that it's all up to you. The very first step to truly changing your life is to accept that in the end, it's all up to you. This idea might sound heavy at first, but it is actually the most freeing truth you will ever discover. Many people spend years waiting for someone else to make things better. They wait for the perfect teacher, the perfect partner, the perfect job, or for luck to magically come to them. But life rarely works that way. Things change the moment you decide to take responsibility for your own path. This does not mean you can control everything that happens to you. Bad things can still happen. People can still hurt you. Unexpected problems can still come your way. But even in those moments, you still have a choice. How you react, what you learn, and what you do next. When you tell yourself, it's my responsibility, you take back your power from everyone and everything outside of you. You stop being a victim of life and start being the creator of your own story. You become the hero who doesn't wait for rescue, but starts building your own way forward, step by step. It's not always easy, because it asks you to look honestly at your choices and habits. It asks you to admit that sometimes you let fear or laziness win, but that honesty is what makes real change possible. Without it, you keep repeating the same mistakes, blaming others, and feeling stuck. Think about this. Every single day you make small choices that shape your future. You decide whether to study or to waste time, to speak kindly or harshly, to save money or spend it thoughtlessly, to keep going or to quit. Over time, these choices add up and become your life story. Accepting that it's all up to you means seeing these daily choices for what they really are, moments of power. You may not control what happens around you, but you always control what happens inside you and what you do next. So don't wait for someone to come and change your life. Don't hope for perfect circumstances. Choose right now to take responsibility for your own happiness, growth, and success. This is the first and most important step to becoming the strongest and most fulfilled version of yourself. Remember, it's your life, and it's all up to you. Rule 2. Stop blaming others. It's natural to feel angry or hurt when something goes wrong, and it's natural to want to point your finger at someone else. In that moment, blaming others might feel comforting. It gives you a quick explanation for why things are not working out. But the truth is, blaming others does more harm than good in the long run. It keeps you stuck in the same place, feeling powerless and frustrated. When you blame someone else, you hand over control of your life to them. You say, my happiness depends on what they did, instead of saying, my happiness depends on what I do next. That is a big difference. One keeps you trapped, and the other sets you free. Think about how blaming usually works. Maybe someone treated you unfairly, or a friend disappointed you, or your boss didn't notice your hard work. Your first reaction might be to get angry, to complain to others, or to stay upset for days. But what does that change? The situation stays the same, and you feel worse. Instead, try to pause and ask yourself, what can I do now? This question changes everything. It moves you from anger to action, from feeling helpless to feeling strong. You can't go back and change what happened, but you can always decide what to do next. Blaming also keeps you from seeing your own part in a problem. Maybe you trusted someone too quickly. Maybe you didn't speak up when you should have. Maybe you ignored warning signs. When you stop blaming others, you can see these things clearly. This is not about blaming yourself or feeling guilty. It's about learning. Every mistake, every disappointment can teach you something if you are willing to listen. When you take responsibility instead of blaming, you feel more in control. You stop waiting for someone else to fix your life. You become the person who makes things happen. Over time, this habit makes you stronger, wiser, and more confident. It helps you handle problems better because you focus on solutions, not complaints. Remember, it's easy to blame, but it takes real strength to look at yourself and ask, what can I do differently next time? And that strength is what will help you grow. So the next time you feel the urge to blame someone else, pause, breathe, and choose to take back your power. The power to change your life is always inside you, and it starts the moment you stop blaming others. Rule 3, own your mistakes. Everyone in life makes mistakes. It doesn't matter how smart, careful, or experienced you are. Mistakes are part of being human. But what truly separates people who grow and succeed from those who stay stuck is how they respond to these mistakes. People who take responsibility don't try to hide what they've done wrong or create excuses to protect their pride. Instead, they face their mistakes directly and say, yes, I did this, and here's what I'm going to do to fix it. This may sound scary at first, but it is actually one of the strongest things a person can do. Owning your mistakes is not about feeling ashamed or punishing yourself. It's about being honest with yourself and with others. When you admit that you did something wrong, you're showing that you value truth more than your image. This honesty builds trust because people can see that you are real and brave enough to face your flaws. It also helps you respect yourself. Deep inside, everyone knows when they have made a mistake. Trying to cover up only creates guilt and stress, but admitting it clears your mind and heart, allowing you to focus on solutions instead of lies. When you own your mistakes, you also take back your power to change. If you say, it wasn't my fault, you lose the chance to make things better. But if you say, yes, I did this, you can also say, and now I will fix it. This is how growth happens. Every mistake becomes a lesson, and every lesson makes you wiser. Over time, this habit of taking responsibility turns you into someone who doesn't fear mistakes, but learns from them quickly and effectively. Think about people you respect in your life. Often, they are not perfect people. They are people who admit when they're wrong and work to correct their path. This kind of honesty makes them trustworthy and admirable. You can become that kind of person, too. The next time you make a mistake, instead of hiding or blaming, pause and simply say, yes, I made a mistake. What can I do now to fix it? Then take action, even if it's a small step. Remember, mistakes don't define you, but how you respond to them does. Owning your mistakes is not a sign of weakness. It is proof that you have the courage to face reality and the strength to improve. And this, more than anything else, earns you trust, confidence, and real respect from others, and most importantly, from yourself. Rule 4. Take control of your daily choices. Many people dream of changing their lives in big ways, like becoming healthier, more successful, or more confident. But what they often forget is that real, lasting change usually doesn't come from one huge action. It comes from hundreds of small, daily choices that might seem unimportant in the moment, but slowly shape your habits, your character, and your entire future. You might not always be able to control what happens around you, but you do have control over what you choose to do each day. And those choices over time make all the difference. Think about the choices you make every morning. What time do you wake up? Do you choose to start your day with purpose? Or do you hit the snooze button again and again? What do you eat for breakfast? Do you pick something healthy that gives you energy? Or do you choose something quick but unhealthy? Do you take a few minutes to read something that inspires you or helps you learn? Or do you spend that time scrolling through your phone? These decisions might seem small, but they quietly build your habits. And those habits shape your health, your knowledge, your mood, and even your opportunities. Taking responsibility for your daily choices means you stop leaving them to chance or habit. Instead, you start asking yourself, does this choice bring me closer to the life I want? For example, you can't always choose to have an easy day at work or school, but you can choose your attitude toward challenges. You can't stop every problem from happening, but you can choose to face it calmly rather than react with stress or anger. When you see your choices this way, you start to realize how much power you really have. Every moment is an opportunity to move your life in a better direction, even in small steps. And small steps, taken every day, create huge results over time. People who succeed and stay strong don't rely on big, lucky breaks. They build good habits through daily decisions, and those habits support them even on hard days. So today, notice the small choices you usually ignore. Choose what to read, what to eat, when to sleep, and how to spend your free time with care. Don't let these moments slip by without thought, because when you take control of your daily choices, you take control of your future. And that's one of the most powerful forms of responsibility you can ever practice. Rule 5, learn to say it's my fault. For many people, these 3 words, it's my fault, feel heavy and frightening. They sound like an admission of weakness, something that could make others think less of you. But if you look deeper, you'll see that saying it's my fault is not really about blame. It's about responsibility, courage, and freedom. Most people spend so much energy avoiding blame that they forget something important. The power to change anything in your life starts with admitting your part in it. When you learn to say, it's my fault, you stop running from the truth and you take back your power to fix things and grow stronger. Imagine something goes wrong at work, school, or in a friendship. Your first instinct might be to explain why it wasn't really your fault, or to point out what others did wrong. But what if you paused and looked honestly at your own part? Maybe you were late, maybe you didn't prepare enough, or maybe you stayed silent when you should have spoken up. When you say, it's my fault, You're not ignoring other people's mistakes. You're simply focusing on what you could have done differently. This simple shift makes you more aware of your choices. And that awareness is the first step to improvement. Saying it's my fault is also freeing because it moves you from helplessness to action. If everything is always someone else's fault, you're left waiting for them to change before your situation can improve. But when you see your own role, even a small one, you see what you can change right now. That means you don't have to wait for the world to become perfect before you start getting better results. Over time, this habit helps you learn faster. You don't waste energy defending yourself or blaming others. Instead, you get straight to the question, what can I do next time to avoid this? This makes you wiser, more confident, and more respected by others. People trust those who can admit mistakes and grow from them because it shows honesty and maturity. Remember, saying it's my fault isn't about self-hate or ignoring what others did wrong. It's about seeing clearly where your choices mattered and using that knowledge to become better. It's a sign of strength, not weakness. And it's one of the most powerful ways to take responsibility for your life. Learn from every situation and keep moving forward no matter what. Rule 6. Focus on what you can change. One of the greatest secrets to living a peaceful and powerful life is learning to focus on what you can change instead of worrying about what you can't. Many people spend hours, days, and even years thinking about things far beyond their control. The weather, the economy, what other people think, or mistakes they made in the past. These thoughts drain energy and create stress. Yet they do nothing to improve the situation. But people who take responsibility live differently. Instead of asking, why did this happen to me? They ask, what can I do right now? This simple question shifts your mind from worry to action, from helplessness to strength. Imagine you have a boss who is always in a bad mood. You can't control your boss's feelings, no matter how hard you try. But you can control your own attitude and effort. You can choose to stay professional, to keep learning, and to look for solutions instead of complaints. Or think about your past. You can't go back and change it, but you can choose to learn from it and use those lessons to make better choices today. When you put your energy into things, you can control your words, your habits, your reactions. You start to feel calmer and stronger, even in difficult times. Focusing on what you can change doesn't mean ignoring reality. It means facing reality honestly, and then deciding where your power really is. Maybe you can't control how long a problem lasts, but you can choose how you respond each day. Maybe you can't change another person's behavior, but you can change how much you let it affect your mood or self-esteem. This mindset keeps you moving forward when life feels heavy. Instead of feeling stuck and frustrated, you start to see options and small steps you can take. Even the smallest positive action like planning your next day, taking a deep breath before reacting, or speaking kindly to yourself can make a difference. Over time, these small actions add up and create real change. Remember, life will always include things you cannot control, but the way you focus your thoughts and actions is always up to you. So when you feel overwhelmed by worry, pause and ask yourself, what can I do right now? Then do that thing, even if it feels small. That choice, repeated daily, is how you keep growing stronger, more peaceful, and more responsible for your own life. Rule 7. Don't wait for perfect conditions. Many people spend years of their lives waiting for the perfect time to start a project, the perfect mood to study, the perfect opportunity to chase a dream. They tell themselves, I'll do it when I feel ready, or I'll start when things calm down. But life is rarely that kind. The perfect moment almost never comes. There's always some problem, some distraction, or some doubt that makes waiting feel safer than action. But people who truly take responsibility know a powerful truth. If you keep waiting for perfect conditions, you may spend your whole life standing still. Real progress begins when you decide to start now, even if you feel uncertain, even if the situation isn't ideal. When you wait, you give power to fear and excuses. You let circumstances control your life instead of your choices guiding it. But when you act despite your doubts, you take back control. You say to yourself, maybe everything isn't perfect, but I will do what I can right now. This small but brave step creates momentum. You learn as you move, and each action gives you new clarity and confidence. Suddenly, problems that seem huge start to feel smaller because you're facing them directly instead of imagining them from afar. Think about someone who wants to get healthier but keeps waiting for the perfect diet plan or the perfect time to join a gym. Months or even years can pass and nothing changes. But someone who simply starts today by taking a short walk, drinking more water, or eating one healthy meal begins to build habits that lead to real change. It's the same for studying, starting a business, or improving a relationship. Waiting keeps you in the same place. Action, even imperfect action, moves you forward. Remember, you don't need to see the entire path before you take the first step. You can adjust your plan as you go. The most successful people aren't the ones who waited for everything to be perfect. They're the ones who started before they felt ready and kept going despite mistakes and setbacks. Mistakes aren't the enemy. Inaction is. So, whenever you hear yourself saying, I'll start when, pause and ask, what small thing can I start right now with what I have? Then do it. Over time, you'll see that action creates clarity, courage, and real progress, while waiting only creates regret and lost time. Taking responsibility for your life means refusing to let perfect be the enemy of good enough to begin. Start today. Start small. Just don't wait. Rule 8. Choose your reactions. Life will always test you with things you can't control. Rude words from strangers, unfair treatment from coworkers, or unexpected disappointments that hurt deeply. You can't decide what other people say or do, and you can't always stop problems from happening. But there's one thing that always belongs to you, your reaction. In every situation, no matter how stressful or painful, you have the power to choose how you respond. This choice, though it may seem small, shapes your peace of mind, your relationships, and even your own sense of strength and character. When someone insults you, you can choose anger and fight back with harsh words. But you can also choose silence or kindness, showing that you don't let others control your mood. When something goes wrong, a missed opportunity, a mistake, or a delay, you can choose to complain, or you can choose patience and ask, what can I do next? Each time you pause and choose your reaction, instead of letting it explode automatically, you prove to yourself that you are not a prisoner of your emotions. You are their master. This isn't always easy. Sometimes your first reaction comes from habit or hurt. But the moment you become aware of that reaction, you get a second chance. You can stop, breathe, and ask yourself, what reaction shows the kind of person I want to be? This simple question can guide you toward responses that bring peace instead of regret, and solutions instead of more problems. Think of people you admire, leaders, teachers, or even calm friends and family members. Often what makes them admirable isn't that nothing bad ever happens to them. It's that they choose thoughtful reactions even when things go wrong. They show patience when they show anger, or they choose kindness when they could choose blame. You can develop the same strength through practice. Every day brings small chances to practice choosing your response in traffic, at work, or in conversation. Remember, your reactions belong to you alone. No one can force you to shout, panic, or give up. And every time you choose a better reaction, you build inner peace and confidence. Over time, this power to choose becomes a habit, and you'll notice you feel calmer and more in control, even in stressful times. Taking responsibility for your reactions is one of the strongest ways to show the world and yourself who you really are. Rule 9. Keep your promises to yourself. It's easy to see why we work hard to keep promises we make to other people. We don't want to disappoint our family, friends, or colleagues. We know that keeping our word earns trust and respect. But there's one person we often forget to treat with the same seriousness, and that person is ourselves. Many people make small promises to themselves every day. I'll wake up early tomorrow. I'll study for an hour tonight. I'll exercise after work. Or I'll finally start that project I've been planning. Yet when the moment comes, it's so easy to break these promises. We tell ourselves it's no big deal and we'll do it tomorrow. But over time, these broken promises add up and they quietly steal something very important, our self-respect. Taking responsibility means treating your own promises to yourself as seriously as the ones you make to others. When you say, I will do this. See it as a contract with yourself. It doesn't have to be a huge goal. Even keeping small promises matters. For example, if you promise to read for 10 minutes before bed, do it even if you're tired. If you promise to go for a short walk, go even if it's raining a little. Each time you do, you prove to yourself that your words have meaning. And each time you don't, you teach yourself that your words are empty. Keeping your promises to yourself builds something deeper than discipline. It builds real self-respect. You start to trust yourself more. You no longer say things lightly because you know you will follow through. And as your self-trust grows, so does your confidence. You begin to see yourself as someone who can count on their own strength, even when it's difficult. This doesn't mean you have to be perfect. Sometimes life truly makes it impossible to keep a promise. But the difference is in your attitude. Instead of forgetting or excusing it, acknowledge it and recommit. I couldn't do it today, but I'll do it tomorrow, and I'll make a plan to make sure it happens. This shows that your promises still matter to you. Remember, the relationship you have with yourself sets the tone for your whole life. If you don't respect your own words, it's hard to build a life that makes you proud. But when you keep your promises to yourself, you become your own ally, your own source of strength, and that's real power. Treat yourself like someone worth keeping promises to, because you are. Rule 10, build discipline, not excuses. It's so tempting to make excuses when things get hard. Excuses often sound reasonable. I'm too tired today. I had a long day at work. Or I'll start fresh next week. In the moment, they feel comforting and safe, as if they protect us from discomfort or failure. But the truth is, excuses slowly steal your future. They keep you in the same place, dreaming instead of doing, wishing instead of working. If you want to truly take responsibility for your life, you must choose discipline over excuses. Discipline might feel hard at first, but it is the very thing that sets you free. Think about it. Discipline is not about being perfect. It's not about never missing a day or never making a mistake. It's about keeping your promises to yourself even when you don't feel like it. It's about showing up for your goals and dreams every single day, even on the days when motivation disappears. Motivation is helpful, but it comes and goes like the weather. Discipline is what keeps you going on the cold, rainy days when you'd rather stay under blanket. Building discipline. Start small. It might mean waking up just 10 minutes earlier, reading a few pages of a book instead of scrolling through your phone, or doing a short workout, even when you're tired. These small actions train your mind to do what is necessary, not just what feels good. Over time, these habits add up and create big results. You might not see the change in a day or even a week, but look back after 6 months or a year, and you'll realize how far your daily discipline has brought you. When laziness or fear whispers in your ear, remind yourself why you started. Think of the life you want to build and the person you want to become. Remember that every small act of discipline is a step toward that life. And each time you choose discipline over excuses, you strengthen your willpower and self-respect. Excuses might feel easy, but they cost you your dreams. Discipline might feel hard, but it gives you real freedom. The freedom to create the life you want, to feel proud of who you are, and to know that you didn't just wait and wish, you acted. So don't try to be perfect. Just keep going. Keep choosing discipline every day and watch how your life transforms, step by step. Rule 11, face your fears. Fear is one of the strongest feelings humans experience. It can stop us from trying new things, speaking up, or chasing dreams. Many people blame their problems on outside things, bad luck, other people, or difficult situations, when really, deep down, they are afraid to face their own fears. It is easy to say it's not my fault, or I can't do it because of this or that, than to look inside and admit, I'm scared. But true responsibility means turning toward your fears, not running away from them. When you take responsibility for your life, you begin by asking yourself a simple question. What am I really afraid of? Sometimes the answer is clear. You might be afraid of failure, of being judged by others, or of not being good enough. Other times, the fear is hidden beneath layers of excuses and distractions. Maybe you avoid trying something new because you worry you won't succeed. Maybe you stay silent because you fear conflict. Whatever the fear is, the first step is to name it and bring it into the light. Once you look fear in the eye, you realize something important. Fear often feels much bigger and scarier before you face it. When you stop running, it starts to lose its power. It becomes smaller, more manageable. Facing your fears doesn't mean you won't feel nervous or uncomfortable. It means you are brave enough to move forward anyway. It means you accept fear as a natural part of growth, not a reason to stop. After you recognize your fears, ask, what can I do about this? This question moves you from feeling stuck to taking action. Maybe you start by learning more about what scares you, practicing little steps toward your goal, or asking for support. Each small step helps reduce fear and builds confidence. Over time, the fear that once held you back becomes just a small part of your story, a challenge you overcame. Remember, everyone feels fear. The difference between those who grow and those who stay stuck is simple. The ones who succeed face their fears. They don't wait for fear to disappear. They move forward despite it. Taking responsibility means becoming that kind of person, strong, brave, and ready to meet fear head-on. So next time you feel afraid, pause and ask yourself, what am I really afraid of? What small step can I take to move forward? Facing your fears is one of the most powerful ways to take control of your life and unlock your true potential. Rule 12, learn from everything. Failure is something everyone experiences at some point. It might feel painful, embarrassing, or even shameful. Many people react to failure by blaming others or by trying to forget it ever happened. But people who take responsibility see failure in a very different way. They see failure not as the end, but as a powerful teacher. Every mistake, every disappointment, holds a lesson that can help you grow stronger and wiser if you are willing to learn. This simple change in mindset can make you unstoppable over time. When you fail or face a setback, your first reaction might be to feel angry or sad. You might blame others or the situation, or tell yourself that you are unlucky. But these feelings keep you stuck. Instead, try asking yourself, what can this teach me? This question might seem small, but it has a big power. It turns pain into wisdom. It helps you look deeper at what happened and find the reason behind it. Maybe you didn't prepare enough, maybe you rushed, or maybe you didn't ask for help when you needed it. Understanding these reasons helps you avoid making the same mistake again. Learning from everything means being honest with yourself, even when it is hard. It means accepting that failure is not something to be afraid of, but something to welcome as part of your journey. When you stop being afraid of failure, you stop being afraid of trying. You become willing to take risks, knowing that every experience, good or bad, adds to your knowledge and strength. Over time, this habit builds a strong mind. Instead of giving up when things go wrong, you look for the lesson and use it to improve. This attitude makes you confident and resilient. People who learn from failure don't stay down long. They get up faster and move forward stronger. Remember, failure is not a sign that you are weak or unable. It is a sign that you are growing, learning, and pushing yourself to become better. So the next time you face disappointment or make a mistake, don't hide or blame. Pause, ask, what can this teach me? And use that lesson to move forward. This simple step turns every challenge into a stepping stone on your path to success. Rule 13. Help others without losing yourself. Helping others is a wonderful and important part of life. It feels good to support family, friends, or even strangers in need. When you help someone, you build connections, spread kindness, and make the world a better place. But taking responsibility means understanding that helping others should never come at the cost of losing yourself. Sometimes people use helping others as a way to avoid their own problems or goals. They say yes to everyone's needs, but no to their own. This can lead to exhaustion, frustration, and feeling lost. You can't pour from an empty cup. And if you don't take care of yourself first, you won't be able to truly help others. Taking responsibility means learning to balance your own needs with the needs of others. This balance starts with knowing when to say yes and when to say no. Saying no is not selfish. It is a way to protect your energy, your time, and your dreams. For example, if you say yes to every request to help, but you don't rest, study, or work on your goals, your progress slows down. Over time, this makes you feel tired, stressed, and unhappy. But when you say no kindly and clearly to things that don't fit your priorities, You create space to take care of your health, your mind, and your future. Taking care of yourself is not selfish. It is necessary. When you are healthy, focused, and motivated, you become stronger. You have more energy and more joy to give to others. Helping from a place of strength is much more powerful than helping from a place of weakness. People who take responsibility for themselves become true leaders, guides, and sources of support. They inspire others not just by what they give, but by how well they live their own lives. Remember, your dreams and your well-being matter. Helping others is part of life, but it is not your whole life. You must care for yourself first, so you can keep growing and keep giving. When you find this balance, you become someone who can help in the best way possible, fully, freely, and with true love. Taking responsibility means protecting your own path while walking alongside others on theirs. This is how you live a strong, meaningful life that benefits everyone around you. Rule 14. Write down your vision. One of the most powerful ways to take responsibility for your life is to write down your vision. Many people drift through life without a clear idea of where they want to go. They hope good things will happen, but they don't have a clear plan or goal. A responsible person doesn't leave their future to chance. Instead, they take the time to think deeply about the kind of person they want to be and the life they want to create. Writing down this vision makes it real. It turns vague wishes into clear intentions that guide every decision you make. Writing down your vision doesn't mean you have to know every detail or that everything will happen exactly as you plan. Life is full of surprises, and things will change along the way. But having a vision gives you a map, even if it's a rough one. When your mind knows where you want to go, it becomes easier to choose the right path each day. You can ask yourself, does this action bring me closer to my vision? If the answer is yes, then keep going. If not, it might be time to change direction or say no to distractions. Your vision can include many parts. The person you want to become, your career goals, the relationships you want to build, or the habits you want to develop. Writing it down helps you remember what really matters when life gets busy or difficult. It keeps your mind focused on what is important instead of getting lost in worries or distractions. When you look at your vision regularly, it inspires you to keep working hard, even when progress feels slow. Many successful people credit their achievements to having a clear vision. They didn't just hope for success, they planned for it. Writing your vision also helps your brain notice opportunities and ideas that you might miss if you don't have a clear goal. It creates a mental guide that points you toward actions that support your dreams. Remember, taking responsibility for your life means owning your future, not waiting for it to happen. Writing down your vision is a powerful way to do that. It helps you take control, stay focused, and keep moving forward with purpose. So take a few minutes today to write down your vision. Picture the life you want, the person you want to be, and the path you want to walk. Then use that vision as your compass to guide every step you take. Rule 15. Keep growing even when it's hard. Taking responsibility for your life is not a one-time decision. It's a daily choice you make again and again. Some days, you will feel strong and confident. Other days, you might slip back into old habits, blaming others, feeling sorry for yourself, or avoiding the hard work. This is normal and part of being human. What matters most is that you notice when this happens. Stop yourself and choose to return to responsibility. Growth is not a straight line. It's a journey with ups and downs. The key is to keep moving forward, even when it's hard. Life will always challenge you with obstacles, doubts, and tough moments. Sometimes it feels easier to give up or to blame outside forces for your problems. But those moments are exactly when your choice to keep growing makes the biggest difference. Every time you decide to face a challenge instead of avoiding it, you build strength and character. You learn more about yourself and what you are capable of. This process takes patience because growth doesn't happen overnight. It happens in small steps, repeated every day, even when motivation is low. When you slip, don't be too hard on yourself. Mistakes and setbacks are part of the process. What matters is how you respond. If you find yourself blaming others or making excuses, gently remind yourself of your commitment to responsibility. Pause, breathe, and ask, what can I do now to get back on track? This simple habit of self-awareness and choice is powerful. It turns failure into learning and weakness into strength. Keep in mind that growth is always worth the effort. It leads to greater freedom, confidence, and happiness. When you take responsibility, you stop waiting for life to get easier or for perfect conditions. Instead, you create your own path forward, one choice at a time. This daily commitment to yourself is the most valuable investment you can make. So remember, no matter how hard it gets, keep growing. Each day is a new chance to take responsibility, to learn, and to become the person you want to be. This ongoing journey builds a life you can be proud of, full of strength, courage, and endless possibilities. Final thoughts: your life is waiting. At the end of the day, the life you dream about is not something that happens by luck or chance. It is built by thousands of small choices made every day by someone who understands one simple truth. This is my life, and I take full responsibility for it. Nobody else can live your life for you. You can't control everything that happens around you. There will always be challenges, setbacks, and moments of uncertainty. But what you can control are the choices you make in response. These choices add up, shaping your future and changing your world step by step. On this journey, remember that responsibility is not about being perfect. It's about owning your actions, learning from your mistakes, and moving forward with courage and determination. It's about deciding to stop blaming others for where you are and instead focusing on what you can do next. When you take responsibility, you become the driver of your own destiny, not a passenger waiting for things to happen. Here at English Achieve, we believe in the power of small daily habits that create big change. Every rule we've talked about, from accepting that it's all up to you, to facing your fears, to keeping your promises to yourself, works together to build a life of purpose and strength. The path won't always be easy, but the growth and freedom you gain along the way make it all worth it. So today, make a choice. Choose to stop blaming. Choose to own your mistakes. Choose to act, to learn, and to keep going no matter what. Your future self will thank you for the courage and responsibility you show now. Thank you for watching. If this video helped you, please like, share, and subscribe to English Achieve for more motivation and guidance. Remember, the power to change your life is already in your hands. See you in the next video.